How could you do it, villainous Lucy? How could you betray your friends? Now everyone is gone.
It was for the greater good.
We'll never forgive you. Never.
Hello everybody, my name is ShibiBlue, and speaking of blue, let's talk about our favorite blue superhero movie star for a second. No, not that one. There we go. Megamind is one of the best movies to be released back in the mid-2000s. Although it wasn't seen as passable during its debut, it has since become a cult classic that tons of people years later have fond memories of, with many people even calling it a masterpiece. And as awareness for Megamind grew, so did the desire to continue his story. Back in 2023, tons of reviewers made videos on just how great Megamind was, and how if any DreamWorks franchise deserved a sequel, it was this one.
Megamind is back.
I'm kind of a big deal.
What? And you're welcome.
Oh, well, you can kindly go fuck yourself.
Man, a movie like this really shows you how much can change in over a year, and how much worse things can get in over 14. It's hard to believe that with all the bad movies we're getting this year, this is still the worst one, and that's an accomplishment in its own. Good work, DreamWorks. Okay, but in all seriousness, when only the trailer was released, nobody was happy about it. Absolutely nobody, including me. This movie was so hated that there was even a petition to even stop the movie from coming out in the first place. I only wish it was successful. It felt like a joke. Not even a joke that you would chuckle at, oh no. It was a cruel and sick joke. A joke someone who was playing on a fans of a beloved movie that people were waiting years for, only for it to finally be made its mere existence to receive all the hate in spite of all those who rejected themselves to it! Well, it's not a joke. And if it is, I'm not laughing. Which pretty much summarizes my entire experience with this movie. But I'll have a lot more to say than just that, so stick with me for a while, okay? So the first thing I want to address before the actual plot is the animation. From the first trailer alone, everyone was harping on the animation more than anything, and it's not hard to see why. But for me at least, the animation wasn't a big deal. Oh, don't get me wrong, it sucks. Like, even for a DreamWorks related series, this is pretty pathetic within animation quality. But it's not like it's bargain bin bad. The best comparison I could make to it is Pinocchio and the True Story, where the animation is uninspired and awkward in a lot of places, but it's serviceable at best. And it doesn't help that both leads are just as wooden. I've also seen a bunch of these series over the years, so maybe I'm just a bit desensitized to how low quality the animation is compared to the movie. Honestly speaking, I feel like if this was just a series, the internet would have much less of a hate boner for this. I mean, it's not like it would be the first time they put their popular IPs onto a money-making series. Some of them are my favorite shows of all times, like The Penguins of Madagascar, Dragon's Riders of Berk, and Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. So theoretically, if this was just a show, it could have worked, maybe it could have been good, or it could have just been 9 Realms all over again. But all those shows I mentioned have one thing in common. They all exist within their own continuity. But DreamWorks made the mistake of trying to take the continuity of a show and movie and try to fuse it into one. And as you can guess, it didn't work at all. It just creates too many inconsistencies. They had never done this before with any of their other shows, and to do that with a franchise that people have come together to call a masterpiece is at best insulting and at worst infuriating. I'm sorry to go on a tangent. I know you came here for a review, but there really isn't that much to talk about with the actual movie in general. But at this point, I'm just only delaying the inevitable. This is Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. The movie begins with Megamind introducing himself. I'm not just referring to Megamind the character, I'm referring to Megamind's new voice actor, Keith Ferguson, who honestly does a pretty decent job as Megamind's new voice. I mean, we definitely couldn't have gotten someone worse, so good on you, Keith. I only wish you would have read a movie. Megamind then shows the clips of the original movie to remind us how good we had it the first time, and in case you don't recognize the franchise you're watching. Not that I would honestly blame if you didn't, these films are so radically different. But I'm pretty sure all the 20-somethings watching this right now can recognize this franchise. But hey, what do I know? We're just a bunch of dumb animation fans, right? We then cut to a group of criminals called the Go Fish Gang trying to get the catch of the day. After stealing a priceless fish, the Go Fish Gang are then confronted by Megamind and Minion, voiced this time by Josh Bonaire.
You'd think with all the time you guys spend swimming in shoals, you'd be smarter.
Ha, that is the funniest joke I've ever heard. You know that puns are the lowest form of comedy.
So Megamind and Chum, as he chooses to call himself now, gee, I wonder why, manages to catch the Go Fish Gang in a portable prison, but it malfunctions and they get away. So going back to what I was saying before, the animation in a lot of places is stiff and awkward, which means the comedy is also stiff and awkward. As opposed to the original, it was fast-paced and always flowed so much better, so their jokes were always funny. But here, it just feels like you're just waiting for the jokes to happen, because the movie likes to take its sweet-ass time when getting to the punchline.
They're about to get squished! It does not look good for them. Oh, right, I'm a hero now!
So after Megamind defeats the Go Fish Gang, we then cut to the City Hall where Megamind is receiving the key to the city, and we see Roxanne Rishi, this time voiced by Laura Post. During her broadcast, Roxanne has a bit of an epiphany, realizing she doesn't want to be a reporter anymore. For some reason. Luckily, our child insert character, Keiko, is there to tell Roxanne that she can save 50% or more on car insurance.
Obviously, you're too cool to be just on television.
Obviously, you're not that good.
So after Megamind receives the key to the city, Minion starts feeling the big sad because he feels Megamind doesn't appreciate him, and he wants to be Megamind's sidekick, and is that not what you've been this entire time? Which leads to Minion up and leaving the team until the plot says he can return. Oh, and he also does some stuff with some donuts, I think. I don't know, but talk about that would be a waste of time, and I'm already wasting enough of my time watching this movie in the first place. We then get introduced to our villain team, the Doom Syndicate, whose names I won't even bother to remember for you to forget later. Apparently the 4 of them have locked up in this maximum security prison that can only afford to hire 5 guards. And I mean that in the sense that that's how much the movie makers are willing to pay for. Any more than that would have required a budget larger than a loaf of bread. They escape, and then we cut back to Megamind, who's become so inept that he can't even use a toaster.
Toasters need to be plugged in or they won't work.
Show me what you did, sorceress!
How do you function?
Which doesn't make sense, because I'm pretty sure the joke in the first movie was that he was really smart but really clumsy. Anyway, he finally reunites with the Doom Syndicate, and yes, I said reunite because apparently these guys are old buddies who were a villain team back in the day. Which, again, doesn't make any sense because the whole reason Megamind became a villain in the first place was because people ostracized him and he had no other friends except Minion. Where the hell did these idiots come from? Well, apparently Megamind went to a villain school, and it's like, what? And this just goes back to what I was saying earlier about the writers trying to combine 2 different continuities, and it does not work. You can't really call this a sequel when, first of all, you keep ignoring your own lore, and second of all, you're telling 2 different stories. And again, this wouldn't be a problem if this wasn't a direct sequel! So Megamind is worried about having to deal with the Doom Syndicate since they're a team of villains as opposed to Titan, who was just one villain. Which is like comparing fighting a clutter of angry cats to fighting a hungry tiger. Both are dangerous, but one has a better chance of your survival than the other, especially considering the fact that these guys are goddamn morons. Anyway, what happens next is about what you expect because this plot is pretty predictable. Megamind lies to the Doom Syndicate about being evil, secretly cleans up the evil that they do, and our child insert character pops up everywhere like a Deus Ex Machina that she is. Yeah, some of this girl who came out of nowhere solves half the conflict and has all the answers. In my opinion, she's probably the worst character in this movie. And that's saying a lot. So the Doom Syndicate throw a party, which Megamind doesn't like at first, until, uh-oh! Here come the Go Fish Gang, ready to tell everyone that Megamind's actually a hero. It's time for Megamind to bust out his cringeworthy dancing in order to get out of this.
CJ, put another stanky groove in my pocket.
Whoa, that's a good one! I can already feel it echoing through time!
Megamind then leads the Go Fish Gang to separate areas in the lair, and then uses the dehydration gun to turn them into— Wait! Why did you just sit in the fucking foursome? Like I said, they're all idiots and they all trust him blindly. Well, except for maybe Great Valium Storm, but even she can be persuaded if you actually tried. But no, we're stuck wasting 90 minutes of our lives watching the movie drag on when there's such an easy solution to this movie's major conflict. So we finally put a pin in the pointless crap, and who am I kidding, this is all pointless. And Megamind explains the phase 2 that the Doom Syndicate been asking about. Megamind is going to send all of Metrocity to the moon using the rockets that he built under the city back when he was a bad guy. It's just as underwhelming as it sounds. But Megamind finally says screw that and finally captures the Doom Syndicate. Only for them to immediately escape. Whoops!
Man, I really got you guys! It's a prank, bros!
You know what? Just for that, you deserve death. But luckily for Megamind, they're just as bad at killing people as he is, and he manages to escape, leaving the Doom Syndicate free to carry out Megamind's plan, though unfortunately now without some difficulties.
Oh, how long is this gonna take?
This titanium plating is a formidable foe to our powers.
No! Curse you, dog!
So one motivational speech, one rekindle friendship, and one montage later, we finally get to the final battle where Megamind and his team confront the Doom Syndicate, and thank God! And just when I thought this movie couldn't piss me off anymore, when Megamind and Roxanne confront the Doom Syndicate, Marceau is like, well, there's obviously romantic tension between you, right? And then they're like, It's complicated! You gotta be kidding me. Out of all the things to be retconned in this movie, the relationship between Megamind and Roxanne was the biggest misstep. I'm not sure if you remember this, but the entire reason Megamind wants to become good is because of Roxanne. No, I am not exaggerating. She is his sole reason for wanting to become good, from inspiring him to create Titan to being the only person besides Minion who truly got to know him, and when he had finally given up, she was the one who motivated him to stop the monster he created. Roxanne and Megamind's relationship is the foundation in which the original movie is built off of, and this piece of shit movie just ruins everything! Okay, it's almost over. It's almost over. Let's get this over with. So Megamind and Roxanne go to distract the Doom Syndicate with the tennis ball blasters they built, and honestly, I don't know what's more pathetic. The fact that these superpowered villains are being pushed back by tennis balls of all things, or the fact that despite all his creative inventions, this is the best that Megamind can come up with. Minion goes to stop the launch, which goes about as well as you expect, but luckily for him, Megamind built Minion a bird bot that stops the launch for him. Meanwhile, Roxanne is in town being a girl boss and barking orders at all the people who are too stupid to do their jobs, because of course she is, because there's not a single original idea in this goddamn movie. Anyway, Megamind does what he should have done in the first 5 minutes of this movie and defeat the Doom Syndicate with relative ease because again, they are the most incompetent villains ever.
I am dying inside.
After defeating the Doom Syndicate, they bring Atrocity back to its rightful place, Roxanne becomes the mayor for some reason, and all's well that ends well. Is what I would say if it wasn't for this.
Our blue friend will rue the day he betrayed evil!
You know, it says a lot when I'm taking the Teen Titans Go version of this villain more seriously than yours. And that was Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate, and I have to say, I'm honestly worried about Shrek 5 now. If you feel like I didn't give you a good synopsis, or that I was rushing through a lot of the movie, well, that's basically what the movie does too. Its plot and conflict are not only ones I've seen many times before, but it's also inconsistent, because it keeps trying to build a story upon so many retcons. All characters, both new and old, have been reduced to generic archetypes, and watching them is either infuriating with how stupid they are, or boring with how bland they are. And the worst part is, this movie doesn't even feel like a sequel. You know those Disney direct-to-DVD movies that were supposed to be TV shows, but instead ended up being movie sequels, despite obviously being a compilation? That's what this movie feels like. It feels like one giant compilation of a show that came out around the same time. And that's exactly what this should have been. If it was just an hour-long special, instead of an exhausting 90-minute film, I might have been able to stomach it a lot easier. Because let me tell you, getting through this movie was a chore. I had to stop several times just for how bored I was. Supposedly the creators of this movie are talking about making a third Megamind in the far future. But listen, makers of this movie, and I mean this sincerely, if you're truly thinking about making a follow-up to this, I only have one thing to say to you.
Go fuck yourself.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please give me a like and subscribe. Please? Please don't let this all be for nothing. Please! Until then, I'm ShibiBlue, bowing out.